Welcome back to OpenLine. We're talking about Tennessee Season to Remember. This is a yearly event that honors, recognizes the families of violent crime victims. It's going to take place this month, and we'll give some information on it, but we're very fortunate to have, as part of the conversation, Jimmy Hayward Bradford, Marva Taylor Bradford. Their son was killed in Memphis, and Tina Fox, who is with the Board of Parole, Director of Victim Services. We were talking about, going before the break, how important it is not to withdraw. And I feel like it would be my inclination to withdraw. You all, for whatever reason, there was the TV show that was done about your son. You haven't withdrawn. And you're big in your church. How important do you feel it is? And do you see others that you have met that have withdrawn? And how important is it not to, in your opinion?
Ben, I really haven't talked to anybody, I think, that has withdrawn, and I don't know if it's my personality or just talking to people positively about this is what I do. And I guess a lot of times I'm so upbeat and so positive. If you didn't know my son was deceased, you probably couldn't tell it. I tend to talk about him in the present, even though, I realize Taylor's not here with us, but Taylor's here. Taylor will always be there, and I think, as my husband refers to, his spirit is just a part of the Bradford family. I don't know if you picked up on the fact that Taylor Bradford, my name is Marva Taylor Bradford. Mm-hmm. I told my husband, I was going to be part of this as well. So I wanted my family's legacy to continue in there. So he ended up being a Taylor and a Bradford with two last names. But he had the most beautiful smile as my mother, so I just felt like Taylor is always going to be a part of me, just like my mother is always a part of me. That legacy will continue. I guess the one thing that I do grieve about sometimes is the fact that I won't be able to see if there's going to be a Taylor Bradford Jr. I won't be able, to see who's going to be Mrs. Taylor Bradford. I want to think that he was an entrepreneur, that Taylor could have been a lawyer, a doctor, but more than likely he would have ended up in marketing, because he would be probably telling somebody how to run their business. Mm-hmm. He was just that kind of outgoing personality, and I think that's what I miss, that I won't know what the future would have been like if he had been here, but I still have to go back to, there's a greater plan in this tragedy. I may not understand it now, but because he's still here, I know that he's touching my family. He's touching others simply by us being here and sharing his stories with other people.
I don't doubt that. He's touching others. And I think there would be a tendency, when I say withdraw, to be angry, but you keep encountering, I guess, positive acts.
We do.
You've had to endure the worst of all acts, and I guess that could make you angry or bitter, but then you keep encountering positive acts. Is that accurate?
I think it is. Initially, when Taylor passed, the administrator, the in-charge kind of person, felt like, okay, you can handle this. But I found out I really had to take some family medical leave, because, as you said, so many people they didn't know what to say. They would just come up and touch me. And that would make me emotional. I had photographs of my sons in my office. So don't misunderstand that the person you see this evening is the person that was always like that. There was a period there, I want to say about 3 months, that I did grieve and wanted to withdraw in. But the other reason I felt like I couldn't, I had another son. I had Taylor's younger brother that needed to see that his parents were strong, and we were telling him positive things to do when he went back to school. So not only could we say them, we had to also show them. So yes, I withdrew, but I knew I couldn't stay there. But I did need some time for me because I had lost a special child. But I think after a while, you realize life goes on and you just have to be more positive about it.
Right. And did you want to add anything there?
Well, withdrawing for me was different. I grieved. I hurt. I missed my son. And I needed help, and I sought medical help. And along with medical help and my church family and my students at school, students that had graduated from Stratford would see me and say, "Hey, Mr. Bradford, I'm so sorry. Hey, I'm praying for you. Hey, keep your head up." And it was tough on me. And those students in East Nashville, they were strong in the sense that they would come to school after their loved ones had gotten shot and wearing T-shirts with it, with the in memory of, and I couldn't believe that was going to happen to me. But I thought back how strong they were, and so that helped me, just remembering how they came on back to school and they graduated and they made it, and their phone calls, and I see students all over, and they come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm praying for you. Hey, I saw the special on 48 ESPN, and hey, hang in there, Mr. Bradford. You're looking well. You're looking good. Hey, keep up. Keep your head up." So I would tell people, you're going to grieve, you're going to hurt, but don't let it get the best of you. If you have to seek medical help, do it. Go see a psychologist. I mean, hey, your doctor.
And don't lock people out.
Exactly.
I mean, it's interesting to me that you've had so many experiences on TV. You're here now.
Yeah.
Thank you. You did that TV. A lot of people would be very reluctant.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it opened some doors that were positive.
But see, the thing with me, I think about Taylor and his spirit, and he died at a young age. He's 21 years old. And like my wife said, I see young people walking around now, and that looks like Taylor. That's Taylor. I mean, how would he been doing at the bank or at the law firm? And so his spirit lives on, and I'm living this life. I'm trying to stay young. He was a weight person. I'm still going to the Y every morning, and I'm working out, and I'm calling this name out on the last 2 reps. So like my wife said, it's in our hearts, and it'll always be.
That's great. And as far as the services that are available, so here we're talking about Season to Remember. So that's one event that's very special during this time of year that can be difficult. But what about the other things that are available to families of violent crime victims? What else is out there for them?
We make referrals from the Board of Parole's Victim Services Division. We partner up with You Have the Power, Tennessee Voices for Victims. The District Attorney's Office has referrals that they make as well. So we are inundated with just a plethora of services that are available for violent victims of crime. And so we encourage victims of crime to call our office so that we can make the appropriate referrals to them. And we can be reached by telephone 615-532-8112, 615-532-8112, and we can make the appropriate referral to them.
All right, we'll put that up a little later, or at least say it again a little later. Now, as far as a season to remember, walk us through exactly what's going to happen. I think I've kind of given some detail, and we have a graphic here, but tell us what's going to happen, the date, the time, and it's an hour-long service. Kind of walk us through what's going to happen.
The event is Thursday, December the 3rd. It is hosted by Governor Haslam and the First Lady this year. This is the 13th annual event. It started in 2002 from the Bredesen administration and Andrea Conti. And again, this is the 13th year of it. We will be at the First Baptist Church at 7th and Broadway. At 5:30 is when it commences. It is an hour-long event where family victims across Tennessee, not just in Middle Tennessee, but across Tennessee, are encouraged to attend. They can bring a personal ornament, and we have ornaments that will be available for those who don't have an ornament. And again, those ornaments represent a family member who has been tragically taken away, and we recognize that. And family members will have an opportunity to hang an ornament on behalf of their loved ones. And it's a very solid program, program that we honor those crime victims. It's hosted by 10 state agencies across the state. And typically and historically, we've had over 300 participants in the past to come throughout the years.
Over 300? Wow.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to bring up Vincent Sir Charles Bradford. He's the brother of Taylor. And Jimmy Bradford, thank you for being here. I think we'll rotate out.
Okay.
Appreciate you sharing your story. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.